Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show, a new dark comedy drama series, Why Women Kill, available now on CBS All Access, starring in part the man to my right, fresh off of the brilliant HBO hit comedy Veep, Reid Scott. Good to see you, sir.
Thank you.
Good to have you here,
Thanks, man.
Okay, so now you are from upstate New York, correct?
I am,
you
Saratoga.
Said? Saratoga.
Yeah.
So does this make you a horse racing family or anything like that, or no?
My family wasn't involved in it, but we like to lose a lot of money at the track.
Is that how it works?
We're real good at that.
I mean, that's where Parcells is up there all the time.
Yeah, we used to see him up there.
Come on, you're just like strolling around and there's the tuna roaming about up there.
Yeah, right?
No kidding.
My uncle had a box on the finish line for maybe 30 years. So we were up there constantly. All the kids in my town had summer jobs there. It was a great place to grow up. It was really cool.
Yeah, and Parcells, I think, still he lives there and he goes there all the time.
Does he live there? I didn't know that.
That's what I believe. He is up there all the time. And you're a Giant fan, right? Is that what you said?
I'm a Giants fan.
Okay,
Yep.
New York Giants fan.
New York Giants.
Well, now that because you're from the era back in the day where Giants Yankees is the sort of fandom because they used to play in the same stadium before the Meadowlands existed.
That's right.
And then the Mets and Jets because they both played in Shea Stadium back in the day.
My dad was actually a Mets fan. I had to convert my dad slowly over my youth. My dad was a Dodgers fan. Like so many Dodgers fans, when they bailed,
they couldn't root for the Yankees.
He couldn't root for the Yankees, so
right.
He came over to the Mets. But my mom's family, my uncle was scouted as a pitcher by the Yankees, and didn't make it to the show. But their family was so diehard Yankees, and I grew up much closer to that family.
Yes.
So my dad, I think, in order to have something in common with me, decided that he would betray everything about his inner being and become a Yankees fan. So he joined the dark side.
Now, you went to the games here, Yankees and Dodgers, right?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Recently. Which one did you go to again?
We went to Sunday night, the last game of the three.
Okay.
And we brought my son, Conrad, who's 4.5. He's getting interested in baseball.
By the way, what a great name, Conrad Scott.
Conrad Scott. My dad said
it's like a presidential name right there.
He said it ticks the boxes of Supreme Court justice or Major League Baseball player. So the Honorable Conrad Scott, or now batting number 9.
Now batting
Conrad Scott.
Now batting number 9, Conrad Scott.
Yeah, pretty good.
From
distinguished.
I know, very. Okay, so you and this Conrad went to the game.
Me and Conrad went to the game. My wife as well.
He's 4 though, so I mean, he loved it. The whole game, huh?
The whole game, yeah. He was very excited to go, and then we got to the stadium.
Yes.
I think the size of the stadium, and we got there in the top of the second inning.
Okay.
LA traffic.
Yes, sir.
And something happened inside. Somebody made a play, so you heard the roar of the crowd, and he got a little nervous. And then we got inside, and he loved it. We were surrounded by. I've adopted the Dodgers as my National League team.
Okay.
I got to see some baseball.
I hear you. Sure.
But we were surrounded by all Yankees fans, and the moment we sat down, Aaron Judge, took Kershaw yard, and it was just
place went nuts, huh?
The place went nuts, and that was my son's first moment of baseball, which I was really excited about.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Like Conrad Scott sits down, Aaron Judge goes yard off of Clayton Kershaw.
It's amazing.
One day you'll tell him the significance of all that.
I've been telling him every day,
and
just to sort of get it.
What's the reaction of a 4-year-old?
He's just like, Dad, go away.
Don't go. Major League Baseball thanks you for taking your young child to a game. You also have to describe.
The only one.
No, the only one. Well, and you also have to tell your child when there are photographs or if it shows video that day that the Yankees never wore those dark uniforms again.
It was weird
because they should be burned and sent into the fiery hell where those jerseys go to. Of course, I'm not a fan. And here's my thing. I was going full Costanza because I went to the day before.
Yeah.
Saturday, the first pitch was like 1 o'clock. It was 1 billion degrees.
Yeah, it was hot.
And I went full Costanza by saying this is a competitive imbalance that the Dodgers come out in all whites and the Yankees come out in the black polyester.
I agree with you.
And that there's no way that they could be comfortable. CC Sabathia is uncomfortable looking as it is just going to the mound. And he comes out there in all full-on dark uniform. Yeah. It's 100 degrees out. Who wants to be sitting there?
They could have just coated him in like pork grease and honey and let the flies at him.
I think that's what actually did happen based on what happened in the 4th inning of that game. But I mean, but it was great. And children have no concept of beating the traffic whatsoever.
No, not
Zero.
Yeah.
So it's just like, no, the game's not over. My 8-year-old refused to turn off Sunday Night Football because they are Patriots fans. It was 33-3. I don't think I told you this story, Chris. It's 33-3, 40 seconds to go. They're well past their bedtime. He flipped out when I turned the television off. I'm like, wow. What are you doing? Like, because the game wasn't over.
Yeah.
You know?
You got to see how it ends, man.
I know. Well, how do you think the Yankee season ends this year, Reid Scott?
I hate to make too clear of a prediction because it'll tend to bite me in the ass, but man, we're looking so good.
I know that.
Severino's back.
He is on Tuesday.
Yeah, so
we'll see what he looks like.
I think the fact that we could grind it out the way we have so far this season, I think that bodes well. You know, postseason baseball, I think, is the greatest thing in sports. So anything can happen.
We talk about that all the time here, Reid, that in May, April, guy leads off the inning against your team, the Yankees, with a walk. You're like, okay, no big deal. That happens in October, season's over.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Series is over. Yeah. It's game one, leadoff walk. Let's just say Paxton starts the series against, say, Oakland. Okay, leadoff walk. Series is over. Yeah. You might as well just turn the television sets. That's what October baseball just messes with your head.
I love it. I love it. I told you, but when we were talking, you know, in the dressing room earlier, I'm not even focusing on baseball or on football yet. I can't split my focus because I think this year we got the shot. I mean, last year was so heartbreaking.
Yes.
And if we could see a repeat of the Yankees Dodgers, that would be fantastic. Actually, for the World Series, that would be incredible.
Well, I think if baseball could sign for it right now, they would have a wild card series between Cleveland and Oakland and send Oakland to the Yankees because that has been their difficult
it's a good
spot.
matchup.
And then they'd have the Yankees play Houston and then have the Yankees play Dodgers.
I mean, that would be
and then the Dodgers would play
incredible.
They'd have the Nats play the Phillies in a wild card game to see Bryce Harper show up to Washington in a one-gamer.
Yeah.
And then have the Dodgers wind up playing, let's just say, Bryce Harper. Am I off on this, Chris?
Just
and anything
Bryce
like
Harper.
that? Atlanta would play the Cubs, with all due respect to St. Louis, but that's not happening. You spent a lot of time in Chicago on the set of My Boys, right?
We did quite a bit.
Okay, did you wind up at Wrigley Field or anything like that?
We got real lucky. We shot on the grass at Wrigley. It sort of spoke to their season back then, which was like, what, 2006 or 7?
Yeah.
That we booked shooting in Wrigley the first week of October, that we booked it in like July. They're like, you got it.
They're like, we're open?
No problem.
That's funny.
They gave us amazing access. I mean, we were diving into the ivy. We were sliding into home plate. We had the whole park to ourselves.
Are you kidding me?
It was amazing. Yeah, it was really
diving into the
treat.
Ivy.
Which I don't think we were supposed to do. They got a little pissed about that. But, you know, while we were setting up the shots, you know, we had the whole crew there and being very respectful of the field. But, you know, we all brought our gloves and we were just taking some BP and goofing off in the outfield. And it was a dream.
And you dive into the Ivy and you're like, what's Andre Dawson's coffee mug doing out here?
What's Andre Dawson doing out here?
That's right. He placed some of his belongings out there back in the day.
Yeah.
Man, that is, I mean, what I'll never forget walking out there for the first time. I called a game at Wrigley Field for ESPN,
Oh yeah.
And just Charlie Steiner, who was my colleague at the time, told me he used this analogy, now he calls games for the Dodgers, that it reminds him of the movie Blazing Saddles, how they built the town of Rock Ridge, outside of Rock Ridge to make it look, and it was like scenery. Like you could walk up to the outfield and just shove the scenery over because it looks like a movie set.
And the apartments looking over the wall of ivy. I mean, they're selling hot dogs.
Did you ever
beers.
Watch a game from up there?
No,
I did that once too.
Did you? That's
it's
cool.
amazing.
Yeah, it's a great old park. I do like Dodger Stadium. I gotta say,
you do, huh?
Yeah, there's something about it. I mean, it's got a bit of history. It's a pretty decent park for its age. I just like the fact that it's one of the older parks now. I mean,
it is beautiful when you look out when you look out over the right and left field pavilions.
It's gorgeous out there, man.
No,
it's cool.
It's just that, you know, if you want to go to the game tonight, you should leave there.
Yeah. I'm leaving. I'm going from here to the game.
Well, actually, the Dodgers are in Citi Field right now. So, Reid Scott here on the Rich Eisen Show. What was it like? Final day on the set of Veep. What was that like?
Oh man, the entire last week was pretty emotional, and it ranged. I mean, some people were getting a lot of tears, obviously a lot of hugs and thank yous and goodbyes. Tony Hale gave me a particularly hard time, just I think trying to get me to break.
What do you mean?
He wanted me to cry.
Okay.
Everyone was sort of crying and saying goodbye, and I wouldn't do it.
You're not a crier? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, I am. I'll go there, but I don't think I could let myself do it just yet. I instead sort of adopted a mentality of, I was fist pumping, tossing the cap in the air. There's not many shows. You get to go 7 seasons and get to go out on our own terms and sort of do what we did in the show. So it felt very triumphant. I loved it. I loved everybody I got to work with. So I broke later.
You did?
Yeah.
But the last week, I mean, when your last shot, I guess, of that.
Oh yeah, I mean,
what was your favorite episode
of this last season?
No, in the history of the show where you're involved in it, and
I think it was season 4, I believe, the congressional hearing where the one of the panel, the senators on the congressional panelists starts reading all the insults from the emails to Jonah, and just like a laundry list.
I wish you could read them out right now.
I know.
I mean,
I know. Find that footage.
I would ask what your favorite line that was written for you would be, but this is a safe for work show.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
You couldn't do that.
No.
Oh my gosh. I just loved it. It was incredible. Now tell me about Why Women Kill, which is available on CBS All Access right now.
It's from Mark Cherry, who brought Desperate Housewives. Mm-hmm. It's even a departure for him. It's dark, like the title implies. There's some murder and some death. Mm-hmm. It was fun because there's 3 different storylines: 60s, 80s, and today, and the stories all parallel each other in ways, but they all sort of deviate. There's lots of twists and turns. I'm in the modern day storyline, or like you said, I'm an out of work author who somehow has convinced his wife to have an open relationship. I mean, it happens all the time in Los Angeles, right? I mean,
which you called a fantasy.
Oh, writers just crush. Yeah.
That's right. Yes.
Especially loser writers. Too.
Nice.
But it was really fun. It was really fun because it's all heightened and it's got this sort of soap opera kind of delivery to it. But we cover a lot of ground in 10 episodes of television. We got to do a lot of really cool stuff. And my character in particular, I mean, he starts off, he's a nerd. He rediscovers his love of cocaine, and then he goes down this rabbit hole and the other, and it all ends up with, I don't want to give anything away, but
sure.
The killing spree at the end is pretty great.
And you can check it out on CBS All Access, which is a home of a ton of great television shows, including right now Why Women Kill. And then Black and Blue in theaters October 25th, a thriller film. We've had a couple of your colleagues on the show, Mike Coulter and Frank Grillo. Frank loves making fun of a photograph of me running on the beach with my dog, Hudson. Frank's an alpha male.
You think so?
Just a little, just a wee bit.
Just a little bit?
Just a wee bit.
Yeah.
So
the veins and the muscles.
The veins and the muscles are a dead giveaway. Yeah.
Leather jacket, the boots.
The look like
veins in the jacket.
Frank
the leather jacket.
Again, Frank looks like a guy and sounds like a guy I went to high school with who's asking me, like, what are you doing here? Like that sort of thing. Like I walk in the gym class, what are you doing here? Like that's the sort of thing that. And as a matter of fact, I think he says that to me when he sits here on the show, and I'm like, I'm hosting it, Frank. That's what I'm doing here. But anyway, tell me about Black and Blue.
It's a great. I love cop thrillers, and it like noir is one of my favorite genres. And this would fit nicely into the noir vibe. Naomi Harris plays a rookie cop in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. I play her ride-along partner, and she witnesses something that she's not supposed to see at the hands of Frank Grillo and his sort of crew of corrupt cops. And she's on the run, and the whole movie takes place over the course of about 48 hours. So you're following it, obviously not quite in real time, but you're getting this really dense thriller. And and we bring technology into it, and it's a bit of an indictment on, some of the injustices that we're seeing now coming from all different kinds of, police departments. It was a lot of fun. There's great action in it too. Deion Taylor, man, he's a phenomenal director, and our cinematographer Dante Spinotti, who shot, L.A. Confidential, and I mean, just the man's a living legend. So the movie just looks really cool.
And it's in theaters October 25th.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, Reid Scott.
Thank you.
By the way, since we've talked about cops and we've talked about the Yankees, the show NYPD Blue used to feature Nick Turturro. You remember Nick Turturro?
I do.
Do you follow him on Twitter?
I don't. I'm not a big social media.
Okay.
I'm terrible.
Well,
at
here's
it.
the thing. We're going to. Chris, did I tell you we're going to get Nick here?
Oh, he's coming in
October. Yeah, when the Yankees. When
goodness.
Really?
Okay.
You just do yourself a favor.
Yeah.
And whatever your id is watching Yankee games, your angry moment when their Yankees maybe not be performing as well as they are, or your id is how excited it is, that is on display. But Nick Turturro on his Twitter feed.
Excellent.
Oh my gosh! Make sure though Conrad is asleep when you hit play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure that the AirPods are in.
He's lived with me for the last 4 seasons of Veep.
Okay.
He's heard it all.
Oh, that's fantastic. Reid Scott here. Check out again Why Women Kill on CBS All Access in black and blue in theaters October 25th. Come back anytime, brother.
You got
It's
it.
great
Thanks,
to have
man.
you. That's Reid Scott right here on The Rich Eisen Show.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download The Rich Eisen Show app.